a Liverpool fan, but I think it also invokes elements of what being from this city is about, or what being a Liverpool supporter is about. So I think it's right there in the centre of what we do and what we think about. As we talk to people in other companies or other clubs as part of my day-to-day job, it's always something that features at some point because it's such an important part of what we are. I think one of the things that struck me and still strikes me today was the number of people that perhaps didn't lose anyone there but had somebody who was there, and there was this amazingly long period of time when you just didn't know, because there weren't mobile phones, and you imagine all the fans who were there who got in, and fortunately a lot of them got home. We had a period from like just before kickoff to sort of 9 o'clock in the evening before my brother finally arrived home, kind of somewhat bewildered by the amount of attention he was getting from the family. But you just had this period, where he was missing, the TV was playing out, grandstand was showing what was going on. It was, through the day, generally, I think it just got worse and worse. So I think I think that's, as well as the eventual tragedy and the people who were lost, I think it invoked, I think everyone who had anyone there or knew anyone who was there went through that same process. And I think that's why it wasn't just the people that died. I think families were genuinely affected across Liverpool just by knowing somebody was there and having that period. For me personally, it kind of rung home just how difficult that must have been, and obviously way more difficult for somebody who didn't come back. I think the clubs, I know, always tried to be supportive, and I think the city is always supportive for the families. I think the campaigning that's continued and the efforts that many people, both the families and fans, put in, I think is admirable, and it shows that we never give up on anything. We certainly don't give up on the people who were lost. I think hopefully we get to the truth one day. Hopefully we get some justice one day. But you just have to admire these people for carrying on with their lives, because I'm fortunate that I certainly have never lost somebody at a football match. But to lose anyone anyway, and to be able to carry on, and I think that in itself is admirable for anyone. But to do it in the way they're doing it with no real closure yet, I think you can only admire them. And I hope that certainly they get what they deserve in terms of justice. And I think that Liverpool Football Club should always be supportive of them.
First and foremost, I see Hillsborough and the Hillsborough disaster as the unnecessary and avoidable deaths of 96 people. And that is what is so tragic. If it hadn't been for the breakdown of police control, those deaths would not have occurred. They were totally avoidable. And I think Hillsborough is set firmly in the context of British society in the 80s. And the fact that there was a Thatcher government. Football supporters in particular were treated very badly. They were treated almost in a subhuman fashion, and even the official police language at that time was animal terminology. They spoke of corralling fans from train specials to the ground and putting them in pens, and it's exactly how you treat animals. And Liverpool fans paid the price for that mentality, and that to me is the tragedy. And I think the fact that it was Liverpool fans gave an added dimension when it came to the aftermath of Hillsborough, because Liverpool had a reputation. It was seen as a militant city. The council in previous years had locked horns with Thatcher, and we as a people were seen as militant and nationally had a negative reputation. And I think what was able to happen was the two forces were able to combine. The poor reputation of football fans coupled with the negative reputation of Liverpool people in general. That is how a cover-up was enabled after Hillsborough. You had at an intricate level, police statements being altered, police notebooks going missing, videos going missing. So the cover-up was systematic and became strongest within the legal system and the legal procedures, most notably in the coroner's court at the inquest, where the true facts of how people died were never explored. And the coroner failed in his duty, because the role of a coroner is to investigate and inquire into how, when and where an individual died. Not only did he not do that in the mini inquests, as they were known, at the interim stage, but then in the final inquest he lumped everyone together into a generic inquest effectively, and those 95 deaths, as they were at the time, because technically Tony Bland was still alive, were treated as one death, and those individuals were denied their rights. Under British legal law, the dead of Hillsborough were denied their rights because their individual circumstances were not inquired into fully, as is their right under coronal law. The legal procedures have run their course and have failed bereaved families of Hillsborough. For me, I think it's like the Berlin Wall coming down. It takes a long time, but you keep chipping away. And I think every decision that goes against any fight, individually or collectively around Hillsborough, chips that wall down a little bit more. And I think eventually there will be a ruling somewhere which says an injustice was carried out around Hillsborough. And I think one way of doing that is by the government taking seriously the feeling and the strength of feeling here in Liverpool and beyond, and ordering a full inquiry into events after 3:15 on the day of the disaster, and equally important in respect of the cover-up, an inquiry into the role of the investigating officers and an inquiry into how Hillsborough was investigated.